Whatever that means, you guys know better than me. So what has reduced, I don't know. But down there you are writing, amongst the dairy cows supplied to Maseno ATC and KDDC, 11 have died. You didn't specify to me. And that's why I'm making my conclusions the way I'm making them, from the table that the committee has provided. Even if you look at the recommendation that I was talking about on FIF Act, you have mentioned that it's supposed to be finished by January 2024. And we are in December 2024. I don't know if we are working reverse. Maybe you guys have that. I don't know which calendar the committee was using to make some of the recommendations. Your recommendations are very weak. That's what I'm trying to emphasize. Because you guys were emotional. And when you are emotional, you are not factual. Take time, get the facts. With these very good observations, if you add into facts, then you can bring very good recommendations. That's why you are running around with the recommendations, because you are not sure of what you are saying. I'm looking at the issue of the mechanization, and you've mentioned how many tractors are in the garage, how many cannot be serviced, how many. I know from a report you brought in this assembly, the number of operators we have in that place are almost 20. The number of operational tractors from your report are 3. So we are paying 17 people for doing nothing. You see, you are even making the deputy speaker fall down because she's just amazed by what you guys are bringing before the house. We are paying 17 people for doing nothing. Remember, we are paying how many people in KDDC? Permanent and pensionable plus casual, just to raise 1,000 shillings in a month. Is it worth it? No recommendation on that. I once said in this house that we are turning Maseno ATC into a hotel. It's no longer becoming that agricultural training center that we want it to be, where people go and learn farming. If you want to do poultry keeping, you go to Maseno, you can stay there, but the main aim of staying there is to learn farming. If you want to plant maize, you go there, you are taught the kinds of seeds suitable for your kind of soil, you can stay there as long as. So the main aim of the ATC is to teach people how to do agriculture. But from the observations of this committee, we are turning the ATC into a hotel where people go and they train even for business and they eat and go home, and not focusing on the demonstration farms that we are having. Honorable members, these are some of my very many concerns I'm seeing that needs to be addressed as this report is brought before this house. It's an eye-opener for all of us, where we need to be investing in our money. Is it worth it to keep buying cows if we are not prepared to keep them? Is it worth it buying chicken or chicks if we are not prepared to have them as demonstration farms in our ATCs? Is it worth it to have 36 cows of milk? If I got you right, that's like a cow producing, those who know maths like the Honorable Koi will tell us, that we're having 36 cows. No, there are 22. And those 22 cows are producing 5 liters of milk in a day. How many liters per cow is that? It's interesting. Must we keep on keeping those cows? Can't we do other things in agriculture? Can't we spend all this money in buying for people seeds? Can't we spend this money for just fueling all those tractors and farming people's lands and providing them with inputs? Must we stick to having these institutions if we are not prepared for their management, Honorable Speaker? Honorable Speaker, I agree with the observations of the committee, but I doubt the recommendations that they've made. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Mildred.
Thank you. when the chair for agriculture was presenting the report, and their observations are very, very interesting, very factual, what they found from the ground, from all the facilities. I don't want to go through all the facilities because it's been read, but I just want to agree with their observations. Yes, they observed, they went there, they saw with their own eyes, they've written their own observations. And it's very interesting, Mr. Speaker, just to agree with Honorable Seth, that is there value for money in all these facilities. That you find a facility with many cows, just like he has said, I don't know how many of you have calculated, 22 cows divided by 5 liters of milk. I don't know whether it's not even half a, one cow is not giving half a liter of milk. Maybe a cow is giving how many liters? Maybe 0.0 something per cow. So the Agriculture Committee did a good job by going around to every facility. You look at the money that was spent to buy some of these equipments, quite a lot of money. When you look at the one at Ahero Multipurpose, the 30 million purchased, there's also an additional 3 million for completion of the facility. But the facility is not operational, Mr. Speaker. You go to another facility here at Kisumu Dairy, where there is 26 acres of land. But when you look at the facility, they do not have power. There is no water, low milk production still, and the land is lying fallow, Mr. Speaker. You look at the number of cows that have died. No wonder the cows have died, because there's no water and there's nothing to run the facility. I've also looked at the other facility in the slaughterhouse facility, where the vice chair is claiming that there was some sand mixed with cement at 10 million. I just want to agree that there must be some BQ to support the claim. But when you look at all these findings, Mr. Speaker, the observations, this assembly needs to strengthen its oversight role on the county executive, because every year we are putting in money to run these facilities. Every year there is a budget that is done by the Agriculture Department. But when you look at what is coming out of the ground, there is no value for money. So the public resources, is there anything we can tell the public as an assembly in terms of service delivery to Kisumu County residents? If you read this report to the people on the ground, people would cry tears, because you can't believe that a facility where we are supposed to be going for training, where we are supposed to be taking our farmers, what are they going to learn even at the aqua fish pilot site? What are they supposed to learn? Because even up to now, you can see there's no work going on. Quite a number of places where the tractors have stalled, and you look at the number of staff that are employed there, vis-a-vis the tractors that are working, only 3 tractors are in use. Yet at the end of the year, the revenue generated from this Rabur Agricultural Center, 660,000. Even if you look at this revenue collected from the Rabur and any other facility, Mr. Speaker, this county is talking about on-source revenue. And some of the on-source revenue streams are coming from the agricultural places. And you can see we are not getting any revenue from these places. No wonder, when our revenue projection is 3.8 billion, we end up collecting only 1.4, meaning from all these revenue streams, there is no work going on. So the revenue collected would still be low, Mr. Speaker. So I've looked at the observations, they're quite good. But when you look at the recommendation, I want to agree with Honorable Seth. Your recommendation is very weak, Agriculture Committee, and you need to strengthen the recommendations. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Benny Peta.
Mr. Speaker, the report given to us today by the Committee of Agriculture, Livestock Irrigation, Fishery, and Bull Economy gives a glim picture of what is happening in the department. Though some members will be quick to condemn, to take them to task, that their recommendations, the report, do not meet some threshold. That will be okay. Because it depends on how one wants to argue it and the position one has taken. But it is a gloomy picture of our county, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if I start with the Kisumu Dairy Development Ward in Chemelil, the 26 acres of land was bought by the county government of Kisumu for this project, indicating the government was serious on this project. And this was a donor-funded project. And since its inception, no good work has been done. We have never seen the value of money that has been invested there, Mr. Speaker. That is a plain truth. So when the committee tells us that the animals that were taken there have died, that is true. They were being mishandled. Something that was supposed to be a pet project for the county is not lively. The county is not benefiting from it. The dairy animals don't have their stable food. They drink from the river. They are being added in the villages. That is the real picture. Someone can come up to condemn, to challenge, that is okay. But what we need to condemn, when the committee went there physically and is telling us the situation on the ground, we need to ask, what is happening at the department? At the department, some people have echoed here, the minister should go, the chief officer should go. When we are passing the budget for this department, let us reflect. What budget do we pass for this department in relation to how many areas the committee visited? Are they 5 or 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. About 7 that they visited. What budget do we pass for the department in relation to these projects that they undertake? If there is no proper location for them, and when the budget is being done, we are not serious, the committee does not know, so we are the first to be condemned. Are we keen on our budget? And what answer is the department giving on their budget? Because this budget, when it was being done, at one time I met the Minister for Agriculture, and he was telling me I'd only been left with 40 million. Okay. O&M, you also know, is a big issue in this county government. So we just don't condemn. We go to the budget line. What does the budget contain? So that we condemn the department. Then we go to the personnel. The personnel who are supposed to look after this. Because a minister, anyone can be appointed provided you have a first degree. And the chief officer, there are also qualifications. But there's one person whose qualification, experience, skill matters. That is the director. That is the director. And we know in this government, directors are being appointed after every 3 years on contract. And the senior people in the department are ignored. Because you cannot leave your permanent job You go for contract for 3 years, and we know what happens. So it is the system that is bringing problem in some departments. Mr. Speaker, if I look at the dairy animals, we are being told there is no food for them. Casuals are employed who are earning 5,000. Someone earning 5,000, you want him to work for 1 month, he will do 0 work. And a number of reasons have been given. So unless, and Mr. Speaker, I remember this. During the open day here, the governor came. And when the governor reached the stall of agriculture, the chair and the vice talked to the governor. And they said they wanted a meeting with the governor. I don't know whether the meeting took place. I don't know what was discussed. You see, so there's something wrong. And correcting it, it may be hell. Then, that is that. Then I go to the rice mill, Mr. Speaker. They were talking of the rice mill at Ahero. And it was bought at 30 million. And we are not seeing the value. And Kisumu County will not see the value. Because by the time it was being bought, which brain brought it? And what was his focus? And then what happened later? And this agreement you are talking between the county, the National Irrigation Authority, and the National Treasury, were you given a copy of that? You are not given a copy of that. And the private investor who's supposed to do this work, the agreement, you said here, after 2 weeks' what, the department should bring that here. Has it been signed? Has that agreement been signed? And let me tell you one thing, because I'm privy to some of the information. This agreement will be signed. The land where the machine is installed is owned by the National Irrigation Authority. So the premises of National Irrigation Authority is where the business is going to be done. And the building is also owned by the National Irrigation Authority. They will want some charges. The county will also want some charges for the machine from the private investor. These are the technicalities. And when the original brain was telling them, let this thing be installed on the county government land, some of the people who are in that office now, who have failed, they were not seeing that. They were seeing they are the people who are now better. They were going to manage it well. And they are not technical on this area. So we are now faced with the technical matters where people who have no good knowledge skill on this will not make a breakthrough. So it has failed. And that is why there was an effort to bring a private investor in Kisumu County. And this private investor is also being frustrated by the very people in that line. So, and it was the hope of Professor Jongo to improve rice farming in Kisumu so that it is milled, sold in the market as Kisumu rice, Ahero rice, Kano rice. We are not seeing the success of that in the near future because of the people who are in that line to execute this. So it is a tall order, my friends. And some of these things we say, if the professor was around, we will tell him. Because I believe the kind of information is being fed with is not the truth. So when you people went to Ahero, you are just given the bare information. Let the county government of Kisumu go to Treasury to follow up that letter. Because the National Irrigation Authority is not interested in following up that letter. That is the truth. Another matter, Mr. Speaker, is the Mamboleo slaughterhouse. In this county, the major food apart from vegetable is nyama, meat. Because fish is expensive for our people. Unless we go for omena, polo, or whale. And Professor Nyongo will tell you, by saa mbili saa tatu, the son of so-and-so has come from his contract, has got some little money, he will give Nyakajulu to go buy wheel. So that they battle with it. By saa tatu, they start the job. And Mamboleo has become a cash cow. As much as Honorable Setu was condemning it, because some of us will come up to condemn because we feel guilty. Mamboleo is a cash cow. I hope Adega was here, Honorable Adega, to give also his little contribution. Because it has appeared in the budget from the second assembly, and every time no good work is being done. So that is the truth. I agree with the committee on their condemnation that the agriculture department is not doing well to help this country. That is what this their report is, and it is true. Mr. Speaker, Maseno and Papconam, the committee should have told us which one is ideal for agricultural work, considering the weather, the climate. Between Maseno and Papconam, which one is ideal for agriculture? That is what I'm keen to hear. Because, Mr. Speaker, I've not traveled well to those sides of Seme. But when I hear of another agricultural training center coming up in another place and leaving Maseno, as a child of this county, I just feel offended. Because I remember when I was young, my father used to be trained at Maseno, and he's a man who never saw the inside of a classroom, and he was a good farmer. And what he used to tell me, one time, the good farmers in Kisumu district, that time it was Kisumu district, were invited to go to Nakuru to visit the late President Jomo Kenyatta. And he had been given some cassava seeds, the agricultural seeds. And he had removed some to take as exhibit in Nakuru. So I have a lot of respect for Maseno, but it was a decision of the executive to build one in Papconam. So now what I want to know, the weather condition. And will Maseno continue to do the original work it was doing for the people of Kisumu County? That is very crucial to me. Rabur AMS. When I was young, Mr. Speaker, the tractors at Rabur used to plow for us, and it was classic. We would go pay in advance. Within a week, 2 weeks, or some few days, the tractors will be on the ground, plowing for the farmers. With the advent of devolution, that died away. People are now asking, what is happening? What is this devolution? What is this county? Where have the tractors gone to? And we passed here, Facility Improvement Fund. When this was being passed here, the two institutions that were being held was Rabur, the Agricultural Mechanization Services, and Maseno. And I'm reading in this report, Mr. Speaker, that they have not been operationalized. The regulations have not been created, and our people are suffering. The number of tractors in the garage, per this report, at one level it is 4. At another level, it is 3. I take that to be a clerical error, but I know that there are some tractors which have been taken for repair, and the minister is reporting here that they are still in garage because of lack of payment. When the county government takes its tractors to CMC, from November last year, we are now in December, a whole 1 year, the tractors have not been repaired, serviced. And money has not been paid. What picture are we getting? Were they budgeted for? Was it necessary for them to be taken to the garage? Our people see the state of things in Kisumu County is very horrible. And let this house support this report. And we tell the governor, things are not okay in this government. Mr. Speaker, I so contribute.
Honorable Adonija.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, a lot has been said. But I want to say that the Department of Agriculture, they are messing us, or they are messing the people of Kisumu County. Mr. Speaker, before I continue, let me appreciate the good work which was done by the Committee of Agriculture, led by Honorable my sister and the Deputy Chair, Honorable Billy. Mr. Speaker, when we visited, I was part of them, when we went to Chemelil Tamu Ward. Mr. Speaker, what we saw there was not good at all. Because during that time, or maybe if you go there today or any other day, there are very, very good machines which were brought by the Europeans. They donated to the county, Kisumu County. But nothing else is going on there. But on the issue of cows, we were told that when the donors came during the handing over, the Department of Agriculture, they requested the agriculture, they requested the people from Maseno to assist them with around 20 or 30 cows, so that they represent during handing over. But today, I'm seeing in number 2, budget utilization and project implementation status, the response from the department, they are saying that they purchase of 20 in-calf pedigree dairy cows for Maseno, ATC and KDDC for 55 million. Meaning, one calf was bought at roughly 250,000. So from the report and what we found from the ground is totally different. Another area, Mr. Speaker, sometimes back, I think this year, early February, between February and March, Chemelil factory and Simba transporters were willing to provide fuel so that the feeder roads within Chemelil Tamu Ward, starting from the Nyangore to those other part of Chemelil, they were supposed to be repaired, graded and marramed. When the report was wrote, the Department of Road refused to give us machines. Now, they told us that those areas, especially Nyangore, is in Rift Valley. And today, we are discussing Nyangore, KDBC as part of Kisumu County. It is true that the road from the tarmac to where this facility is, it is very, very pathetic. So, another thing that we found there was no toilet. These people, they were just jumping from the facility to the sugarcane across the road to assist themselves. Another thing that we found, there was a shortage of water. The reason why there was a shortage of water, there was a very huge amount which was needed, which has not been paid to date. That is 560,000 for electricity. It is true that there was low milk production. It was like they're making each and every day they were getting like 5 liters, between 5 to 10, and 1 liter is 30 shillings. The mortality rate of the cows were very high. Even that day when we went there, we got some cows. We are not even able to stand from where they are. And where those cows are sleeping was very, very filthy. Very, very filthy. So, Mr. Speaker, what I can say is that the Department of Agriculture, they are not helping us, the CCM and his team. Because, Mr. Speaker, when each and every time the workers or the managers, if they want something, they must communicate with the department. If they don't get the response, nothing will be done. If they want anything, they will not be given until such a date. The other team came from Kisumu to Nyangore. The issue of employment, we found that there were some workers who started working there around 2022. To date, they have not been confirmed. The issue of salary, they are even going, those who are there, they are going more than 3 months without payment. So, Mr. Speaker, the last part of it, and that is my last point, I want to tell this report, the visit of the site was done around April. Even us, sometimes we are not doing good to the people of Kisumu County, because this is a very, very good report which ought to be discussed long time ago. Long time. Mr. Speaker, I've seen somewhere written that is a committee recommendation that by approval of this report, which has adequately addressed the concerns through questions sought in the statement by Honorable Frederick Odari regarding the status of the county AMS service, this House therefore consider that an elaborate response to the statement is provided through this report. I've struggled since I came in here in the morning. I've not seen my statement, and I don't know whether the report which is being discussed here was part of my statement. So, Chair and the Deputy go and prepare another report concerning my questions which I raised on 13th of this month, so that they can be discussed. Mr. Speaker, I want to, there is an area, the committee is giving us 5 million, and they have not attached the receipt showing to approve that those cows were really bought. And Honorable Billy also was talking of 10 million used somewhere for smearing. I have not seen the big queue. So next time, or Honorable Billy, you are a true defender, but it will reach a point that, a frog will only know the importance of water when the river dries up. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ken Ouko.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, may I take this opportunity to thank the Committee of Agriculture. Actually, you have exposed a lot, and I beg to support the adoption of this report. Mr. Speaker, we are soon turning into a house of lamentations. And surely we can't take our role seriously as the oversight authority in the counties. Mr. Speaker, will fail to deliver on some issues. Mr. Speaker, when we are writing all these reports, we have the guiding principles and the law, which is very clear. This is a house of law. Mr. Speaker, may I urge the committees who are doing their reports not to fear from implicating people who have messed our economy, Kisumu. Because you will not be doing it as your personal level, but as a house. And if you have, you may require guidance on these issues. We have a lawyer in the name of Aman in the house. He can help us so that we come up with the far-reaching recommendations which can force somebody to act on issues. We don't actually degrade your recommendations, but it's like most of them are not backed properly. That can make these people, they are more of advice than static recommendations. Mr. Speaker, it is quite unfortunate that agriculture is regarded as the backbone of our economy, not only at the county level, but also at the national level. The same agriculture, we are messing up with it in a way that is not supporting what we believe on. Mr. Speaker, for a project to be initiated, there should be a feasibility study to confirm whether it is viable and it has value for the money invested. Mr. Speaker, I fail to understand why we can't deal with the basics. The basics, ATC stations, one is Ahero, another one is in Maseno. Why don't we put more effort on these ones first? We develop them to a level where they can produce and be sustainable. Then now when we can move to some others. I would like to concur with the member who was talking about agricultural college being put up in Seme. Surely, if we can't uplift Maseno, we can't uplift Ahero. Why do we have to waste money on some places which are not viable for they should have done it probably in Nyabondo, where the climate is favorable. But now, you see, this is a wastage of resources. And a case where the executive comes up with a project without coming to the assembly, and now they insist that that project must be done. And we also allow such projects to go on. I think we are there to be blamed. We should stand up to be counted. If we don't do that, members of the county assembly through the speaker, we will fail on our duty. I think there are some issues to be looked on properly, like the one in Chemelil, where we have 26 acres. 26 acres, really. There's a whole world where we can do a lot in terms of agriculture. But you see, the little which is given there, the 22 cows and something, don't produce anything. Is there value for money, really? You know, we should come up with recommendations that will make some people. And how? If we have an expert in such kind of institutions, Really, how can we lose almost 16 cows at a go? Somebody should be taking responsibility. This is why we should come up with the recommendations that will make some people take responsibilities on their negligence. This is a public fund. This is not somebody's fund. It is not for the governor. It is not for Waziri. Mr. Speaker, at times you find some people gearing towards siphoning money from the county government. Some very senior officers, they also take tenders. When we appropriate money here, you find that somebody very senior in the government is now also doing some other things there. They're struggling for tenders. And now, this is how we compromise on quality of services we are expecting. Mr. Speaker, I urge members of the County Assembly, kindly let us rise up and defend the public money. That is our function. But if the moment we will be lamenting each and every time, we only worry about what is happening, reports and all those things, and we keep them, it is quite unfortunate. Mr. Speaker, I support the report, but I'm so much disappointed how Agriculture Department is being mismanaged. It is quite unfortunate. Is it really the backbone of our country and county? It is not. If it is, then we should act on it as members. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Honorable Warindu.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Let me also have a voice on the report that has been generated by the Agriculture Committee. Indeed, they did an elaborate work and gave us the true picture of what is happening in our county, especially the agriculture department. Mr. Speaker, the main purpose why devolution was fought for was to bring services closer to the people. And again, it was a way of dealing with the cases of unemployment that we are having in our country. And if we ask ourselves, now we are beyond 10 years since devolution was brought to this county. Have we really achieved what it was intended for? Mr. Speaker, if you look at all the 7 agricultural sites that we are having, I think if they were well managed and used, the issue of unemployment will be a thing of the past. But we cannot achieve that, Mr. Speaker, if we still have this African mentality of leadership, where those who have been given the powers and authority to be in charge of our institutions are just sitting in their offices while neglecting their places of work. Mr. Speaker, a true leader must always be outside monitoring and supervising what is happening in his or her institutions. But since we are Africans, we are just interested in being in the offices and being called bosses, and forgetting what we are supposed to be achieving. It's like, Mr. Speaker, that we are putting foundation for the future generation to revitalize these facilities and use them productively. Where we are sitting right now, Mr. Speaker, we've become a county where we are dealing too much with consumption and not producing. If we are to follow and to go with the spirit of devolution, I think, by then my thinking has always been, Maseno ATC was intended to be like the curry that we are having in Nairobi. And is it really doing the functions that it was intended for? Always when you want to know the performance and the effectiveness of a leader, of an African leader, just take your time to go and site visit the report gives us a true picture of how some of us understand devolution. And if you go through the report, it's all about consuming, and we are neglecting to produce what we are supposed to consume. And indeed, if we go through this line of thinking, then we will have no county to manage and operate. How I wish that those who are in the opposition, those who are put in the positions, can use this opportunity to produce more and consume less. Mr. Speaker, history will judge us so harshly since we were given the opportunity in running some of these institutions, and we've not taken the good care of these services, and right now most of them are in their deathbeds. Actually, if you look at the dairy institution at Chemelil Tamu, what is happening there, Mr. Speaker, is so pathetic. And some of us, even the report, is recommending that some of the dairy cows that are in KDDC should be transferred to Maseno ETC. The main question will be, what will happen to the machines, the capital investment that was made there? Are we just going to neglect them and close that facility? Mr. Speaker, we need to rise up to the occasion and make sure that we utilize the capital investments that have been put in some of these facilities. Most of the speakers before me have been talking about, I've been urging the Vice Chair of Agriculture to come up with to give us the BQ. If you look at what they were given, even the management of the Mamboleo slaughterhouse were not provided with the BQs. And for the 2 years running, that is 2022, 2023, and 2023, 2024, there is a total of 20 million that has been spent there. And actually, if you look at something that 20 million shillings can do, it's not what is happening in Maseno slaughterhouse. Mr. Speaker, even the local cows, the local breed of cows that we are rearing at home cannot give us 1,000 shillings per month. We really need to do something, and how I wish that those who have been given and tasked with the responsibilities of running our institutions can take their work seriously, including us, so that the Kisumu County people can get the value for their money. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I submit.
Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Let me also air my sentiment concerning the report being read. Being that I was part of the team which traveled to the sites, Mr. Speaker, all those has been echoed are the true picture of what we found at the ground. Most so at the KDDC, Mr. Speaker, it seemed that we got large gaps which are supposed to be filled from the department, from the institution, Mr. Speaker. We found that there was low milk production, and this resulted from low quality breeds. If the department are the ones who are to at least guide us on how to get the productive animals, and the ones bringing for us the low quality breed which provides less milk, Mr. Speaker, and that means they didn't make it well. And concerning the dairy animals which were provided, if in the case 9 out of 12 died due to negligence, Mr. Speaker, so how will the common wananchi at the ground take care of the animals which they were provided with, Mr. Speaker? And concerning the issue of Mamboleo, Mr. Speaker, much has been said. And we visited the ground, all has been said. There was insufficient water, Mr. Speaker, at the Mamboleo slaughterhouse. And by the time they were bringing the 30,000 capacity liter of water, of tank, which was erected, Mr. Speaker, they removed the 120,000 liters capacity. So we are changing the smaller capacity, with a larger capacity, Mr. Speaker, it means those who are doing the work were not serious, Mr. Speaker. And concerning the encroachment, Mr. Speaker, which has not been talked of in the department, we found that in Mamboleo Slaughterhouse, there were plenty of encroachment. There are some private investors which already encroach within the compound, within the facility that has made the area to be small. And concerning the appropriation, Mr. Speaker, there were money appropriated for in the Mamboleo Slaughterhouse from the financial year 2022 to 2024, Mr. Speaker. And the money was not well utilized, being that, well, we were talking of the smearing of some cement on the floor. Those we got from the community and the board, which were at Mamboleo Slaughterhouse. Smearing of the floor with cement, we found it, but there was no BQ. As a committee, Mr. Speaker, we've requested for BQs from the department once. Then the second time, we also reminded them to provide us with the BQs for the Mamboleo Slaughterhouse. They failed. As a committee, we are now getting time so that upon failure to appear to bring for us the response, we are now to summon them so that they come and explain to us why they can't provide the BQs for the work which was taking place in the department. Mr. Speaker, concerning the feeds at the KDDC, Mr. Speaker, we found that the department failed, being that the procurement team, they first moved with the procuring of the animals without procuring the feeds for the animals. As a competent personnel, Mr. Speaker, before one procures for an animal, he or she would have gone first to do the procurement of the feeds before bringing the animals. And on page 13, Mr. Speaker, there was a recommendation which was made concerning the Mamboleo Slaughterhouse. The recommendation reads that recommendation 3, where PICPAC should conduct inquiry for the 2022 to 2024 financial year, the utilization of the money which was appropriated and allocated for the work at Mamboleo Slaughterhouse, the 2022, 2023, and 2024, and the report will be brought back to this House, Mr. Speaker. That recommendation serves as well, being that after all that has been done, we will look for the BQs not there. I think if we take it to the PICPAC committee, Mr. Speaker, they will now go and inquire and bring more information to this House concerning the utilization of the fund for those 2 consecutive financial years, Mr. Speaker. And finally, Mr. Speaker, as I had much on the report, Mr. Speaker, under general recommendation, Mr. Speaker, much as we say the recommendations are there, but I would like to propose for another recommendation under general recommendation, Mr. Speaker, that the proposal for the amendment of the recommendation, Mr. Speaker, that while the department has failed the service to disservice the people, Mr. Speaker, that the department, being that they have failed the department, let all those who failed the department being removed from the offices so that we get other people who are competent, which can steer the committee to higher levels. And I call upon Honorable Bill to second the proposal of the amendment, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
I want to, if you are proposing an amendment, make it clear. What are you proposing? It is very clear.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My proposal is that, being that the people who are in the department has failed the progress in the department, I am proposing that let those who have failed, in like the CCM, the chief officer, be removed from the office, Mr. Speaker, to serve. Because there was a time when we went for the site visits for the water, and we saw the fruits were bad in that. So if I propose that, let those who have mismanaged the department, from the chief officer the Waziri or the CCM, Mr. Speaker, and the procurement team which procured the feeds, procuring the animals before the feeds. Let all those people be removed from the office, and that's my proposal, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable members, I do not believe that's a good recommendations, owing to the fact that there's a recommendation that the pick-pack committee to look into this matter. So probably we wait for the report of the pick-pack committee. The recommendation is not well packaged. Honorable Dari, you are on your feet.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to talk before you make your ruling, but it is good now you have made your ruling. I had a concern concerning the amendment which he is bringing right now. When you are away, other speakers were telling us that, so I was very keen waiting for your ruling, because even there was a day he stood on a point of order and he fought Honorable Nyaoke for proposing for an amendment. So this is not, I want to tell Honorable Dede that this is not the right time to bring such a amendment. You are supposed to do it 1 hour before.
Honorable Dari, I already made a ruling on that, and we proceed. Honorable Jennifer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, going by the mood of the House, may I call the mover to reply?
Honorable Eunice Alando.
Mr. Speaker, sir, first of all, I want to thank this House for the deliberation they've made on this report that I presented. And I want to confirm to the House that as a committee of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Irrigation, we did the work that is expected of us, that is the oversight as a committee, and brought to this House the exact picture of our county under Agriculture, Fisheries, Livestock and Irrigation. Also, to see the irregularities that has been made in that department. There is no value of money that we normally allocate to the department. If you go now on the ground to see what was supposed to be done. Members have given their points and their concerns. And maybe as I was reading the report, some of the members did not get exactly, I don't think whether they were going with me as I was reading the report. Because in my report, I stated very well that Maseno ATC, the money that was allocated there, we saw the value of money. In other words, the work that was done there was done to the perfection. And that is why we were proposing in our recommendation that the cattle that are kept at the KDDC
because of the negligence which is there at the institution, those dairy cows should be transferred to Maseno because of the death that was realized there before. If 11 cattle could die at once in the same institution, we've not heard of any deaths in Maseno ATC. Again, I think it was a typing error, and on my side, as I was also reading, it was a slip of tongue to say that our FIF Act was for 2023-2024, was for 2023 instead of reading that it was for Act for 2024. And I also stated that the department need to give us a copy of that act by January 2025. Under KDDC, surely even the members who visited the area have confirmed what was seen there. It is a complete mess. Because if the KDDC is giving us giving the county government 1,000 every month, which means we are getting 33 shillings per day from that institution. Vis-a-vis the members, the casual members who are employed there. The number of casuals there are 5. The parcel there is 26 acres. And out of these 26 acres, there's nothing which is done on the land completely. And you find the cows are dying because of lack of food of the contractor who is supposed to supply the food did not supply food in good time, led to the death of the cattle, and we really have a very shallow land going on without something being done on top of on it. The same institution, we realize there is no water, there is no power. So with all these messes, I don't think we need to go on keeping our cattle there. The cattle which are there, I suspect they may also die because of the problems that we've put across. Again, we were challenged that after at the slaughterhouse Mamboleo, there was no BQ. This issue of BQ as a committee, we've requested the department, and to date, they did not released it to us, and this report, it was now long overdue, and we had to come and present it to the whole house so that the house should know exactly what is happening under that department. And now that that BQ was lacking, in our report we requested, and the pig pack now to take over and investigate, so that we need to know exactly what transpired during the development of that slaughterhouse. Mheshimiwa Oikopete also came up with another point that as a committee we need to explain between Maseno and Papkonam where the agriculture, out of the two, where the agriculture maybe is doing well. I think that one we cannot answer as at now, cause already the money that was allocated for Papkonam had been pumped and it has been developed. It's ready now to start admitting students to learn agriculture in the same institution. And for Maseno, it is also a training institution where it trains people in agriculture, on agriculture, and also demonstrate on farms. There's also another concern. There's also another concern that from Oikopete, that most of these irregularities maybe happened because of the low funding of the department. And as we are aware, that O&M is really doing a big work when it comes to maintenance. And it was maybe trying to confirm to this house that agriculture is normally low funded, and so money for operations at times is lacking. I think I've responded to most of the concerns. Some of the concerns were responded by members of the committee. And as members were saying that the recommendation of the committee was very weak, I don't want to accept that, because even a member from the committee came up with an amendment that out of all these irregularities that it is realized, the officers who are concerned and also who are concerned in these departments should be disciplined by maybe being deployed to other departments, or the head of the county government should see on what to do to those officers, because it is very terrible, a situation where we've purchased 20 dairy cattle and then you find 11 die just erroneously like that. The report, that the statement that was brought to this house by Honorable Adonija, I think part of it has been answered, but not fully. We are still waiting for more information from the department so that we'll present it fully in our next presentation as a committee. Otherwise, I want to thank every one of us who participate on this, and I reply.
Honorable members, I want to request the whip to whip the members who are out so that we conclude the debate. Honorable members, let me allow the members who are coming in to sit first. Honorable members, the Committee of Agriculture through their chair has moved a motion. Adoption of a report of agriculture, fisheries, livestock development and irrigation on site visitation to various agricultural facilities within the county. This was seconded by the vice chair of the committee, debated, and as per standing orders, now I want to put a question. And I put that as many of the opinion that the motion adoption of the report of the Agriculture, Fisheries, Livestock Development and Irrigation Committee on site visitation to various agricultural facilities within the county be adopted, say aye. As many of the contrary opinions say nay. The ayes have it. And the motion adoption of the report of the Agriculture, Fisheries, Livestock Development and Irrigation on site visitation to various agricultural facilities within the county have been adopted today, Wednesday, the 4th of December, 2024, at 11:36 hours. And I direct that the recommendations of the said report be communicated to the right department for action. Next order.
Mr. Speaker and honorable members, the business in the order paper.
Honorable members, we can be upstanding. There being no any other business in the order paper, the House stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, the 4th of December 2024 at 2:30 p.m.